What's up? We on? Looking. Ugh. Ugh. Ice cold shot of espresso. Yuck. It's like not cold enough to be delicious. Oh man. It's been a while. It's been a while, man. It's been like a few months, I think. Since we did a hanging out. Since we just hung out. And boy, do I got some stuff. Dude, I got some stories. I have such amazing things to tell you about. Man, it's crazy. So, I guess the last time we hung was I was just wrapping up reading through John, which was such a blessing. Absolutely loved the Gospel of John, and I was deciding like which thing I was going to read next. And we got to a point where we needed to sell our house, and because we sold another piece of property before prior to that, and we were kind of just like wondering like what we were gonna do. And this probably I don't know if I touched on it in like depth. I think I did. There's a house right across the street from my mother-in-law, and it was really nice. I don't say really nice. The property was really nice. It was right across the street from her. It's kind of tucked away. It's kind of everything that we were wanting. But there were some concerns about it. It wasn't like perfect everything. It was definitely like it was going to require some work and whatever. Anyway, long story short, which it's not going to be that short. There were complications, in the air, and I didn't want to force the issue because I really didn't know if this was like what we should be doing or not. But, and I believe I touched on this. We prayed. We prayed very clearly. Prayed very clearly. Father, if this is your will, I don't want to do anything. I will not force my hand at all. We will move in this direction so long as that's it. I don't want to force anything. If I have to force something, it will be a sign to me. Let it be a sign to me that this is not for us. And I doubled down on it. I said, and I prayed this with my sons, prayed this with Jade, my wife. I was like, if we get to at any point, if you shut this door, I will walk away from it without any ill feelings or anything, any sense of like, oh, what are we going to do? Any of that stuff. We're going to have faith in you the entire way through. Lord, even if you shut the door at the very end, everything gets us to the final step. We could be getting ready to sign on the dotted line. If something happens, I will not force it. And I just put some numbers and some lines. I'm like, this is what I'm comfortable in. This is what I would like to do. This is how I would like to do some things. And outside of that, I don't want to force anything. I'll be flexible. I'll be kind. I'll be, we can work. But if things get outside of this, that's it. That's the sign. That's it. So things just start moving. Everything that comes up, it's like, oh, we got to do this. But the neighbors there was like a situation with a piece of like a second piece of land that was in between the one that we wanted and the neighbor. And we're kind of figuring out what to do with that one and kind of moving some property lines around. I'm like, I'm kind of concerned about the property lines. The neighbor's going to buy that in between property. And so there were concerns with the lines, and the neighbor was paying for all the property stuff to get done. And the neighbor was paying for bringing out the surveyors and doing all the stuff and getting all the things drawn and bringing the lady, she was an elderly lady, to the county to get things done, handling everything. I didn't have to do it. Redrawing everything, measuring everything out, being like, oh, how would you like this? Would this work for you? And yeah, that would work for me. That's fine. Everything is just cruising. I don't have to do a thing. Praise the Lord. Every night, I'm just like, Lord, how amazing is this? Praying with the boys at night before bed, just like, boys, I want you to really take in that these are concerns that I have with the property, and I'm praying in front of you that the Lord work things in such a way where I don't have to get involved. That the path just be blazed for me. And that will be a sign to keep moving. And I'm telling them about it. I'm making them aware of what's happening and stuff. We sell our house. We get what we were wanting to walk away with, which was kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Some complications with that. We had to redo the roof on the house. Just crazy stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, dude, we're not gonna have anything left in the house. But we did. Dude, it was just beautiful how everything worked together. I had to turn all this stuff off and pack it into a thing, and I was kind of bummed about that, but whatever. We end up moving into my mother-in-law's like spare bedroom / like RV. We kind of floated back and forth between. She has like this RV parked in her backyard, and then also a spare room. So we were kind of floating in between that, and it was very nice. They were very kind in letting us stay there. But it was tough. It's like not our own space, and we're just living out of a suitcase, and it ended up being a little longer than we were anticipating. All of a sudden, once we move out, things start taking a turn. There's delays, there's weirdness happening, there's a little bit of unease. I don't know what's going on. Now, from the outset, I wanted the piece of land that was in the middle, that was separating us. I wanted the whole thing. I didn't even know that was a separate piece. I wanted the whole thing. I thought I was going in and getting the whole thing, but I'd settle for just the piece that it's fine. But all of a sudden, things start changing. And now, we're like 3 weeks into staying in, we're living out of a suitcase in the spare bedroom. All of a sudden, everybody starts getting kind of impatient with how long things are taking and with what the neighbor was doing. The lady who's selling the house is just kind of like, I don't know, man, this is not really what I wanted. I wanted everything to be done prior to me living, moving in with my children and stuff, whatever. And so I was like, look, I said from the outset, I would buy the whole thing and we'd do this, and I'd work it out with the neighbor for whatever piece they want back. And, I'd cut them off. I'd work the whole thing. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I'm being patient. And I'm about to have the whole thing. I just never would have seen. Never would have pictured that this was going to work in such a way where not only do I get the house, but I also get the piece of land that I want. And I don't have to, I have it, and I can work with the neighbor in my own time and whatever, and figure this out with the neighbor. And there's nothing weird. I can redraw it how I would like it, and everybody be happy, and it's going to be better for them. It's going to be better for me. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we start, I'm ecstatic. I'm so hopeful. Things are going well. We're getting everything moving. We're getting all the financials in place. We're just waiting. Their kids get involved a little bit. The lady's son gets involved just to kind of make sure things are moving forward. And we express some concerns, and then all of a sudden things kind of take a little bit of we get a letter back from the county about moving the property lines, and it's things are not quite what we thought they were. And I go, oh, hold on a second. This isn't what we talked about. We're going to have to make some changes. All right, let's see what those changes look like. Well, those changes are going to take time. We're going to be living in this spare bedroom for another month or two, maybe. That's if everything gets approved. And then we're starting to talk to the county. We're starting to talk to other people in there, and they're like, this is not going to get approved. You're going to wait a month or whatever, and it's not going to get approved. The property line's going to be really weird, and it's just me. And so all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa. Okay, all right, here we are. We're now a month or so into this process. And literally all we need is the county's approval on this property line thing, and we're done. That's it. We just need an approval on it. We get a couple signatures. We're done. Buy the house. Right there at the end. We're just waiting for the county. And they come back with this delay, or they come back with a tentative on it. And it's not quite what we were thinking. The things that we're moving around are way bigger. The chunk that we're having to split up is it's just not right. And the neighbors being kind of weird about stuff, really weird about stuff. And I'm like, no, man, this is it. anything beyond this, literally anything beyond this, I'm forcing it. We are now at the point where I have to make a choice that I know is going to be the wrong choice. I'm going to force it. If we go forward with this, I am forcing the issue. I am doing exactly what I said I would not do. And we are right at the end. And I've already been living out of a suitcase. I've already been like all of this, all my stuff's in a storage unit. We put some of our stuff in a storage unit. We put the rest of our stuff, like the majority of our stuff, in a pod and dropped it in the driveway of the house we were buying. That's how certain we were buying this. We dropped a pod in the driveway. That's how close we are to the end. And the Lord closed the door. It was the most closed of a door that you could get for me. Knowing what the plan was from the outset and knowing what I was praying about from the outset, you couldn't get any more of a closed door. It was about like anything else. If I would to be like, okay, no, I'm going to just like go behind the neighbor's back and just like force them to sell me the land too. And then that would have been me forcing the issue. If it was going to be giving up a way bigger piece of the property way more than I'm comfortable with to make the approval go through. And now the property's not even, there's no resale value. I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb, and this is going way outside of what I initially said were like the boundaries. No. I can't do it. It was easy, but it was hard at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense. It was like, there's like a little bit of a sinking feeling, like, like you called my bluff on this one. And I got to like put up or shut up. You know what I mean? I went and talked this big game of like, I will walk away from this. I want this so bad. And I'm ready, and I will walk away from it. Even if it's at the very end, I'll walk away from it, and I'm not gonna cut a fit about it. I'm gonna praise you, even if it's at the very end. And mind you, we're in this house. I'm allergic to their dog. I spent a night in the hospital, or like basically because I couldn't breathe from my allergy to this was not a super comfortable stay. Like, so we've been through it a bunch, and it's just, I just want to move in, but we walk away from it. I said, no. I told the lady's son, I said, I appreciate your time. I thank you for everything. You've been very understanding, very kind, very patient and everything, but it's going to be a no for me. This isn't working. And I really don't want to force the issue. I think everybody's kind of getting uncomfortable with this. And so that's it. It's going to be no. We're going to move on. We're going to do something else. And that was it. It was just like one and done. I had that sinking feeling in, but at the same time, it was just like, it is what it is. It is what it is. And me and Jade just, all right, we'll figure something else out. And so here's where things really start to turn. It's like the second we do that, we're like, okay, what do we do? We're not just going to stay here in the spare bedroom for ever. As a matter of fact, we don't want to stay here much longer. We're so appreciative of them letting us stay here, but like, we need our own space. We had a 3-month-old, 4-month-old, whatever. So, bro, 10 minutes down the road, there's a rental. It is, I think it's Saturday. Jade finds this rental for a really good price. Brand new house. No one's ever lived in it. Really good price. Really good price. Especially for the climate, the housing climate in Florida right now. It's bonkers down here. Everything's super expensive. Finds a really good price. And It's Saturday. We we send a message out to the realtor. Hey, yo, can we get this? We need something quick. Can we take a look at this rental? Not able to until tomorrow. So now it's Sunday. We take a look at it Sunday. We're like, we're going to put the application in. We're going to pass. I mean, we know that. We just sold 2 pieces of property, right? Like, I could buy the house if I wanted. Like, we just need a rental. So we weren't too worried about it, but it was like lightning fast. We submitted the application Sunday night. By 10 a.m. Monday morning, we're approved. We put the deposit down Monday afternoon or Monday around noon, and then or like first and last months or whatever, we meet with them the next day or same day. Get the keys Monday night. We applied Sunday afternoon. Monday night, I'm moving in to this place. I got half the stuff unpacked Monday night. You get it, and then I'm just a little, maybe not half, but a good portion of it Monday night. Get the beds in there. Get it's brutal, by the way. I'm still I'm working. I get off work. I move. I move all wee hours of the night. I get up in the morning, go to work, get off work, go to the pod, move, load up this U-Haul. I mean, everything is happening like lightning quick. Spend the whole week moving in, a little bit at a time every night. It's a nice house, big house, but it's super affordable. It's got plenty of space for, the baby and stuff. So you're kind of feeling like very cramped in the previous. I mean, just everything works super nice. So here's where it gets even crazier, right? Because that's like, that's cool and all. Kind of, it worked out. There's a place like 10 minutes down the road from the in-laws, so we're still close to family, and we got a nice brand new house that we get to rent, and the neighbors are nice, and we got in 24 hours. We're moving in. So that's all awesome. We're going to up the ante, guys. Listen, we're up in the craziness. We're sitting down. I guess maybe if it was Saturday or Friday that we kind of pulled the plug on buying, maybe like Friday or Saturday. Sunday we're doing the application. Monday we start moving in. I think it was that same Saturday. So yeah, I think we pulled the plug on a Saturday. Saturday night, I'm like, let's just kind of clear our heads and let's kind of just decompress. Let's take a deep breath. Me and Jade, as we've been just kind of like holding our breath a little bit, just the anticipation. Let's just unwind. Let's go get some dinner and let's just talk. Let's just get all the thoughts out. And so we sit down and we're having dinner and we're just talking about everything and just kind of like, wow, man, like so many mixed feelings. No bad feelings, just mixed feelings. Just like, oh, wow, I wish that would have worked out. That would have been really nice. But then also like, yeah, we did have some concerns and that would have been a really big project to take on. And I wonder what the next thing is, or, a lot of like, well, where else are we going to go? Or, what should our next move be? And just kind of all these little tactics. And one of the things that I said is like, look, we've got resources that we've never had available to us. And I want to do something good with it. Like, yes, it'd be nice to get the home, the forever home, and that, I didn't have growing up. I was kind of just moved around more than I would have liked to. But I just wanted to have like a home base and start to do those, like, build those family traditions and all that. I really just wanted to settle down. But also at the same time, I'm like, but there's also like, I'm chained to my desk. I have to work long hours. I don't have really any flexibility to do other things. My evenings are all, if I want to do something, it's like I have the resources to do something else and have a little bit, to do something else. And I want to help people. I want to do something more. I want to, like the parable with the servants, and they're given the talents, and they're to be good stewards with it, and they're to bring a return on what they were given. I'm like, we have these resources now from these two sales. Like, I want to multiply, like exponentially multiply, and I want to do good with it, and I want to invest it, and I want to do something. And so Jade, in her wisdom, is like, we could buy my uncle's company. He's looking to sell it. He has a company. They do like online retail for like apparel and Western wear and stuff. And like there was not a moment of like, nah. It was like, oh yeah. Oh, everything was just like lined up perfect. I was like, oh yes. Yes. Backstory on that, he owns this company. He kind of built it over like the last like maybe 10, 12 years, maybe 14 years. And like everybody in their family has worked there when they needed like a job to hold them over, if they were in between things, or they just needed something like while they were on maternity, like, after they had a baby, or while they were pregnant, or right after, or whatever, like they're working their way through college, and they just, this company has blessed their family. So many people in their family have gone through this company, and it's been a blessing to them. And I was like, bro, yes, we can continue that. We can maybe grow it a bit and expand, and it can be a blessing to my immediate family and Jade's immediate family and whatever, but our family. Yes, 100%. This makes perfect sense. I'll get to, maybe continue and even grow the hanging out and the story time and some other stuff that I'm working on with music, and be a little bit more involved with the boys, and then the homeschooling and the baby, and just like, oh man, and I could bring them in, and they could work with me, and just be part of it, and then see this thing kind of explode and expand. And bro, it's crazy. So we were like, yes, let's call him up right now and see if he's down to sell it to us. And it was like no brainer for him, no brainer for us. Things are moving. We had a big hiccup with the finances that was kind of like super unexpected, but we're like looking at it, and we're like, okay, what are our other options? And then all of a sudden, there's like this just glaring kind of like, oh, we should have considered this other option first. This one is way, like, we have route A that we were going down, and that didn't work. And there was like B, and then there was C, which should have been A. Like, it's like, oh, hold on a second. We didn't even consider this, and this is way better option. Let's go down that way. And like what would have taken months to get done, we just went out with option A, and it was done in weeks, not even a couple weeks. Bro, I own a company. I went from not having a house to getting a rental. The sale of this home I wanted so bad, falling through. Absolutely, like, didn't see that coming, to a last minute awesome rental that I am just so happy with, and buying a company. What? You know what I mean? Crazy. Bro, the Lord does crazy stuff, man. He does crazy stuff. Like, just don't doubt him. Whatever it is. I mean, whatever it is. Whatever it is, don't ever, not for even a moment, not for even a moment, no matter how bad it is. My situation was not bad. It was just very uncomfortable, you know? Not the living situation, but just a whole, like, the tension of everything and the unsurety, the surety and unsurety and the last minute nature of everything was very just like, ah. But just knowing that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. God is going to be glorified, and he's going to do the thing in my life that brings him the most glory and me the least. He's going to do the thing in my life that maximizes his glory and his magnificence and his greatness and his holiness and his just wonder, and gives me the most to tell everyone else about and to proclaim. So I'm very excited for the future, whether it's a disaster or whether it's blessings. Just fill the cup spilling over into everyone that I meet. I pray that that's what happens, obviously, and that I can be a good steward with what has been given to me. But man, what a crazy blessing. And on top of that, right, I'm telling my brother, my youngest brother, what's going on, and he's going through similar situation. And he's kind of taking like this kind of weird, I don't know, he's taking a weird kind of roundabout, I don't really know. There's a time in the not so past recent, that I was kind of concerned with his walk. I was kind of getting like a little hyper woo. I don't know. I don't know. It was just getting kind of weird and ethereal. Kind of. It was just kind of weird. I didn't know what was happening. And then it started to circle back. And I was like, wow, okay, awesome. It's circling back. I can really see like things are becoming more grounded, and I'm liking the direction. Not that things have to be pleasing to me, but I just felt way more confident that the Lord's not letting him get out there too far. That he's reining him back in. He's going, ding, 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 come on back. And really liking that. And so I'm telling him what's going on, and he's like, bro, this is also happening with me right now. And I'm like, tell me all about it. My brother he's the youngest. He's really just coming into like a maturity right now where, and he was kind of like doing kind of like sketchy, I don't want to say sketchy, but kind of flimsy jobs, trying to, make a lot of money in a short amount of time. It just, to me, looking at it, I've had a lot of different jobs and whatever that are, a little more concrete. His were not as concrete. This stuff that he's pursuing is not as concrete. And I was like, man, you can't just do these kind of shaky things. You got to get something you got to have a base. You had a good base and you left it to do some shaky stuff, and that's fine. You can risk it. You're single. You can do that now. That's fine. But you got to keep your base so that way you keep your autonomy. You got to keep that base rolling. If you can, you got to keep the base. So that way you're not relying on anyone else. If you cannot, especially as you get older and older. He's going to turn 30 soon. So he's now getting back into that and getting a little more stability, working 2 jobs and moving back out. He's been kind of in and out. And I just, I hate to see him have to go live with the parents again and stuff. It's just like, I want to see everybody eat. I want to see everybody be successful. So, my heart has just really been like, man, I wish he would just hunker down and just take the 2-job route for a little bit. He's got the time, knock that, get that base going, get that savings up, move out, get on your own, get that momentum. I want to see him get the momentum back. And all of a sudden he called me and he's like, I got the momentum back. I'm working the 2 jobs. Things are going crazy. I'm getting ready to move out. I'm getting turned down for this place, getting turned down for that place. almost getting this one, and then something weird happens, and I'm just like, no, the Lord's gonna work this out. He's like, I'm telling the guy that I'm moving in with, his friend, and that like whatever doesn't work, there's a reason it's not working out, and there's gonna be something that glorifies the Lord more, something that we're gonna go and then guess what? More. That's just how the Lord works, and he's seeing it happen in real time, and he's telling his friend this in real time. Like, this is, look, this might not work out, and if it doesn't, the next thing when this doesn't work out, the next thing that happens, you're going to go, oh, snap, dude, even more. So he's telling me, like, this didn't work out for this place, and this didn't work out for this place, and he was going to have to, like make some decisions he didn't want to make to move into this other place, and he decides not to, and then things just work out that he's still able to get the good place, and then he's trying to get a car. He's trying to get this car thing situated, and he can't get this car, and this sale doesn't go through, and this approval doesn't go through, and his friend gets approved, and they're going to share a car, and then at the very end they like double the price on him before they sign, and the monthly payment, and that doesn't work out, and then his dad was going to do something, and then all of a sudden, they get a nice car on the cheap, like just like pay what you can kind of deal. Nice, exactly what they need on the cheap, out of nowhere. They get the apartment, they get the car on the cheap, and he's telling his friend, like, I told you, man. I told you. That's how the Lord works. You're going, I'm going to have to do this, and it's just, I'm going to really just kind of, I got to force this thing to happen, and I just got to make this thing. And the God said, no. I'm going to do it for you. But I got to knock all this other stuff you were doing out of the way. Watch what I do. Right? It's just like when God would intervene in Israel and go, there is a God in Israel, and he is alive. He's alive. I'm going to torch some prophets of Baal, or I'm going to, split the Jordan River, or I'm going to wipe out an entire army in the night. I could just let you in, but then you get all the glory. I'm God. I get all the glory. I get it, not you. Your story is about me. And so, nah. Watch what I do. I'll destroy the army. Watch what I do. I'll knock the walls down. You just march around with some trumpets. I'll knock the walls down. Yeah, your trumpet blasts did it. Sure, I did it. Some guy is just going to find favor with a hostile king, and I'm going to let you rebuild the walls of your nation. And everybody's going to know it was me. I could just let you blah, 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 but I'm going to do something way crazier than that so that everybody knows. It's me. And man, dude, that happened to me. I did the same deal when I was, and I might have shared this already, but I was in between jobs, and I was leaving a job because I was in sin, and I just evacuated the situation, evacuated the sin, just repentance as much as I think everything, whatever I was being counseled to do, leave the job, leave the situation, repent, confess, all of the things, did all of that, and just flung myself into the arms of the Lord. I have to leave this place. There's a job 45 minutes away, all highway. I don't have a car to get there. But this is the only thing I'm going to take it. I have to leave this place. I'm going to take it. You have to do something. You have to do something. It is Wednesday. I start Monday. You have to do something. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. I am leaving. I am repenting. I am fleeing the sin. I'm confessing. You have to do something. I have nowhere else to go. I have nobody else to help me. Not only are you the first person I'm going to, you're the only one I can go to right now. This situation is so crazy. There's no one. You have to do something. I'm going to go pray with the men at church on Friday or Thursday. Saturday morning, I got a car. Out of nowhere. That lasted me my entire stay at that job. And when I finished at that job, I then passed that car along to someone else who needed it. What an incredible blessing. Only God. And that's just how it goes, man. That is just how it goes. I love it. I love to hear about those kinds of stories. Please share them. If you have ones, which I know so many of you do, share them in the comments. I love reading that stuff, man. It's so beautiful to see. It's so beautiful to see, man. The Lord really just does amazing things. So it's also cool too. Like, I've been kind of up in the air. I have like this artistic, there's this totally side note, but kind of on the same vein. I was streaming games, playing video games. And I've always been kind of like, why am I doing that? It's a waste of time. It's not adding to anything, especially doing this. Like, my goal with the story time with Uncle Charlie is to, like, have I don't know when. I have not calculated out how long it would take me to do it, but have the entire Bible read on video, on camera, as like an opus, my life's work, with an explanation of the text. A good explanation, not a super deep theological seminary kind of, just a regular reading of the text and what a normal person, an everyday kind of average person could pull out of it, so that a real newbie is not going to miss anything. They're going to get something out of every portion. They're going to get what you could normally expect to get out of it. You're not going to be like, well, I don't really know what that is. And also just to kind of give a regular reading of it, nothing with some predisposition imposed on it. Just let's read it, and let's read it as it should be read, real normal, nothing, no background on it. No, this is how I was raised to read this text. Let's just read it like any other Gentile would read it, as it has always been read. They were given it. It was given to them with some explanation, I guess, of like from the apostles, and that's it. They didn't have church fathers, a whole bunch of different ones to, you know what I mean? They had them living at the time, but they didn't have hundreds of years to go and like build all this extra theology on top of it, and all this tradition on top of it, and all these things that they have to, like, these dogmas that they have to, because of the, the Protestant this, Catholic that, Eastern Orthodox that, all this other junk that they have to pile onto the text, and so just a regular reading of the text. So I really want to do that, but the streaming was taking up a bunch of time, and I was also just like, man, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm mid 30s. Am I really playing video games still? Like, is that what I want my kids to see and look back on and be like, oh, yeah, he played video games a bunch? And what if it never does anything? How many nights? So, like, the past week or two, I've been like streaming a bit, and I'm just like, man, dude, like, it takes all night. I'm not getting that many views on anything, and like, I'm not gonna be like, well, at least, you know, my kids and my family, whoever can watch this, and, you know, at least it's like a library of work, and maybe somebody in the future can see this, and it will be, you know, a blessing to them. Nobody's watching me stream a game from, you know what I mean? Me play Call of Duty. Wait, what? So the learning now and kind of like taking the ownership of this business has kind of just made me very exhausted and way too tired to be putting hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into streaming. Even though I'm having a lot of fun doing it, like, the artistic part of me is like, oh, I get to make like these crazy intros and cut the clips and make it all cool and awesome and stuff. And it is a lot of fun to do the art piece of it, to do the creative side of it. The actual just hours of just pressing buttons, staring at a screen is just like, is this a good investment of my time? You know, am I treating my time the same way that I'm treating other resources that I have and other opportunities that I have? Like, and being really tired and being like, oh, you know, for the same amount of time of like one stream, I could do an entire week's worth of story time, all 3 ones that I put out per week. I could probably bump that up to 5 days a week. I could maybe, if I just did it 2 nights instead of 1 night, I could do 6 videos and do a video every single day, you know, and take a day off, or, you know, of posting every day, and double the amount of time that it would, or half the amount of time that it would take me to get through all these books. And that's just doing it two nights, and just a fraction of the time that I'm actually streaming. Like, yeah, it's just like, it's pretty obvious that like, that's not a good spend of my time. It's not a good investment of my time. And it's tough for me because there's not as much art with this. And I think I brought this up on past hanging outs before. Yeah, this is not like as artistic, you know, there's not as much creative in this. And I don't really want to get crazy with it because I don't want this to turn into a spectacle. You know, it's just not what I want. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of been like, it's been a real roller coaster. I've had to give up a lot of things that I would like, but not for nothing, for things that really, that are a true blessing. Like, yes, I'm not going to get to put my creativity and, you know, the character, like these character that I was playing, on display and do all this. Like, I've got some really great ideas for the streaming. I'm gonna have to give that up. And I might have already like tried to do this once and just felt like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it, and now I have more time, but I don't have more time. But I think we're gonna be retired. You know, that whole idea, we're not gonna do that, and we're gonna sacrifice that. We're gonna give that up, and we're gonna honor the Lord with our time. And we're gonna do the hanging out. man, with Uncle Charlie. We're gonna talk about what the Lord's doing, and we're gonna provide biblical context on things that are happening in the world, and just putting genuine Christ follower thoughts out into the world, so that anybody who's watching this, no matter where and what time period you are, you have just a regular understanding of things. You don't have all the religiosity piled on top of it. You don't have some guy who's been studying the word for 40 years to be able to just to do the gymnastics to land in the wrong spot. I don't care what the answers are, as long as they're the right ones. And I don't pretend to have all the answers to everything. But I think I know where the gray areas are. I know where the questions are. I know where there are some answers. I know where some answers are. Because the Lord makes it plain. Not to me, to everyone. And there's some folks out there who deliberately muddy the waters so that their dogmas, their traditions, their history, their agendas, the future that they want, whatever, their pulpits can get filled, their pockets can get lined, that sort of thing. And I got nothing to gain from this. I'm no pastor. I have no cult following. I'm not some political pundit who's trying to get votes, who's trying to be some bipartisan, whatever. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy in a room with a nice desk and a lamp and some nondescript books. And it's daytime outside, even though it's night. That's all. Just a regular guy. No agenda. The only agenda is the truth. The only agenda is a plain reading of the word. That is it. So that, I think, is more honoring. A much better spend of the time. And listen, at the end of the day, I was thinking about this, and this is what we'll end with. We'll end our little hang with this. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when the rubber meets the road, when the ladder touches the ceiling, when it comes right down to it, when you get down to brass tacks, if you maximize God and his holiness and his righteousness, and you minimize you, and you're humble, there's humility, you're small, you will draw those two opposing forces. You'll be consumed by him. And that's what you want. You want to just be malleable. You want to be consumed, engulfed by the Spirit of the Lord. That power that raised Christ from the dead. You just want to be consumed by that. Completely immersed in it. You want the gravity of that to just pull you in. Black hole, neutron star, suck you right in, and there's no escaping. That's what you want. But he's got to be maximized. And you have to be minimized. That's just how that works. And this is true for making decisions in life, right? I want to be small me, humble. The work that I do, I want it to maximize the Lord and not me. I don't want to be the spectacle. I want to be the vessel, the mouthpiece. I want to be the tool. I don't know, I want to be the best tool that I can be. I'm not the art piece. And I'm certainly not the one with the hammer or the chisel or the brush or the chisel or the stencil or the scraper, whatever. You know, I'm not. I just want to be a tool, whatever the tool is. And whatever the tool the Lord has me to be, I want to be the best that I can be. So that's me small. And him maximized. This cuts across all fields of life. If you have issues with sin, you're addicted to, drugs or abuse, violence, anger, alcohol, whatever. Some substance things are, they're harder to deal with. It's a chemical thing in your body. But at the end of the day, how massive is your God? He says, have the faith of a mustard seed. He said, have a little bit of faith in a massive God, the mustard seed. It's a microscopic, it's the tiniest little seed that grows into this massive tree. And there's a few different images there of like this thing that starts off very small will blossom into this massive thing. This little tiny faith will grow into this big, huge life, this huge testimony, this huge, walk with the Lord. Yes, sure. But also, it's this thing believing in that thing. This thing being a little microcosm of this thing. Have a little faith in a really big God. Right? You will obey. You will think about how you're spending your idle time, right? When it's late at night, middle of the night, you wake up and you want to get on the phone, and we know where that leads. Big God, massive, all-encompassing, all-powerful, all-loving. God you should fear, knowing that he can see what you're doing. So much love for you. How dare I grieve his heart? What would he have me be doing right now? I wake up in the middle of the night. What should I be grabbing my phone? I know where that leads to. I know what's going to happen. What would God have me do right now? What would the master of the universe have me do right now? He knows I'm awake. Oh, wait, why am I talking to me? I should be talking to him. He tore the veil. This Christ, there's no barrier. I can just speak directly to you. I don't need a priest to do it. I can speak directly to you. Father, what would you, who can I pray for right now? How would you have me spend my time? What can I pray about right now? What can I talk about right now? Or, if I can't get back to, let me just get the Bible app and let it just read to me so I can fall asleep. How would you have me fall back asleep? What would you have me pray about? Let me pray myself to sleep tonight. That's a big God. That's what a big God drives you to do. Man, I really want to do this thing. It's going to be artistic. It's going to be fun. And I'm going to turn it into maybe I can turn it into like a bigger business later and have like this whole storyline and get other people involved in it. It's just being kind of crazy. And, I could turn it into another company that, my kids can have one day and they can pick and choose, maybe they'll run this one, maybe they'll run that one or get involved in this one. But I'm the spectacle of this whole thing. And I really don't want that. I want to maximize the Lord. Lord, I have this other thing that I'm doing that is literally all about you. What would you rather me do? Big God. Maximum God. Yeah, this other thing, this is a waste of time. This is trivial. It means nothing. Whether I do it or don't, no one will remember me for it. It's going to be, no one will be impacted by it. Complete waste of time. You know, someone might chuckle. Great. Someone could chuckle from this when they see that I didn't Photoshop out move my arm there, that part of the line, and look how poorly Photoshopped out that is. They might chuckle at that, and that's good enough. Have a chuckle. Ha 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 ha. Or this part of the desk that I messed up. Oops. Didn't realize it. And then left it in there. Maybe you chuckle at that. I don't know. But it's not about me. Chuckles might get you through the day, but Christ will get you through death. Christ will get you through life and death. And if I can bring you to that, that's... If the Lord should use me for that, what a blessing that would be, right? Same for you. Whatever it is, oh, I want to do this, I want to get involved in that, this would make me a lot of money, or this would be super fun to do, or this whatever, but you don't have to, God doesn't call everyone to be a missionary. He doesn't call everyone to start a podcast. He doesn't call everyone to, be a pastor or be a youth this or whatever it is. Maximum God, minimum you. Where does that drive you? That now that he's, the sun and you're the earth, what orbit does that pull you into? Notice, smaller planets get that closer orbit. Well, your example's breaking down because if there were two big ones, then they would collide into each other and then they would be absorbed. Shut up. You know what I mean. Small you. What orbit? Where does that pull you into? What does that shed from your life? And what new thing does that bring you into? Who knows what it is? What does that keep you from doing? Ooh. If I don't love my wife, the Bible says God will not even hear my prayers. I got a lot going on right now that I need him to listen to me on. I need to love my wife. Maximum God. That's his daughter. He's entrusted her to me. He could strike me down or ignore me. Ooh, he could ignore you. Oh! The living God of the universe, who can just, like we read in the last, could just raise children of Abraham out of the stones, ignore you. In your suffering and in your need, ignore you because of how you treat your wife. That's maximum God. No, please. Please, no. In fear, if not love, I will love my wife. Right? Do not exasperate your children. You are my father. I am their father. I do not want you to treat me the way I treat them, because you could, and you've been merciful on me so far. Let me not run the course of your mercy, because it does run out. You are patient, but it does run out. And God, I am to be a steward. You called the one that brings back nothing, no return, no multiplication, wicked. And he's cast out. My children I'm a steward of. I'm to multiply followers of you. Multiply mouthpieces and tools for you. And you've entrusted me these children. And I squander my time watching football, being abusive, being absent. And I'm going to return to you into your presence with no return on investment, with no multiplication of what you've made me a steward of. You will call me wicked. Don't want to do that. That's maximum God. Maximum God, Lord, what a beautiful and amazing Father you've been to me in my life. How much do I owe it to be a picture of you to my children, to my family? Father, how you lead me through my life. Holy Spirit, just move me from mountaintop to mountaintop. And I don't do that. I don't let that spill out of me into my family. I must. You've been so kind to me. I must. Or you've been very hard on me. You've pressed against me. My whole life has been suffering. How could I ever? You have given me the opportunity to break that suffering and to break that chain, to break that history of all of that, to break that path and to get onto a new one. And instead of how my family or my dad or my mom was just a beacon of suffering to me, I can be a beacon of light to my children and my family. I can set us on a new course, and my children can talk about me and talk about you the way, like with reverence and honor. And like, my dad broke that cycle. My dad introduced my family to Christ. It was the Lord used my dad to bring salvation for generations. That could be you. That's maximum God. That's minimum you. That even though you're now the tool, you know what I mean? Bro, there's levels to this stuff, man. Maximum God, minimum you, that drives you to so much freedom, so much repentance, so much purpose, so much faith, so much obedience, love, blessings, so much. You can do all the self-help. There are routines and patterns that of course are helpful in the backsliding or stopping backsliding and bad habits that you have already built up. But literally, those are just actions to try to keep the guardrails on, and they're great to have. There's the, all the addiction things that you get, and those are I'm sure are great, but nothing has the gravitational pull into righteousness and into the presence of God like a maximum God. Like really focusing and meditating and believing and acknowledging the power and the magnitude of the Most High. That He knows what you think, He knows what you feel, He knows what you desire. He's actively seeing it. And knowing in that moment, I'm about to do something that Christ was crucified for. He was beaten and stricken and separated from His Father, being innocent for what I'm about to do. How wicked of me to do it anyway. In this moment, I'm in full clarity right now. How wicked of me. That's maximum God. That's minimum you. Go do something wrong right now. What else, what other response could you possibly have in that moment? Right? If that's what you condition yourself to be thinking, maximum God, minimum you, Christ died for what I'm about to do. My anger is spilling out. Although if my God had this kind of anger toward me for such a small slight, He would annihilate the universe. I would have no chance of getting into heaven if He was as hard on me as I am on these little ones that I have. If he acted out in anger against me the way I'm about to do, I'd be in hell forever. I'd be in the belly of hell, separated from him, just burning with regret forever. If he was as unmerciful as I'm about to be, as I can feel myself becoming, how could I? No, actually, he's been so merciful to me. I've done so much worse. He's witnessed me doing so much worse. My sin put his son on the cross. My sin was heaped upon him. All of it. All of my wickedness was heaped upon an innocent man. And he was beaten and pierced and hung on a cross, rejected because of what I've done. And yet, his Father is still letting me into his presence. His Father is taking the righteousness of his Son and putting it on me anyway. That's how merciful he is. And I can't be a little bit of that? And I'm going to then go be heavy-handed? Do we not remember the parable of the unmerciful master? How could I? No, I could never. I could never. Go fly off the handle after thinking about that. Maximum God, minimum you. I'm telling you, I'm dropping some heat on you right now. I'm telling you right now. You can change your life. Maximum God, minimum you. I know I really, really beat a dead horse with that one. I'm sure you got it pretty quickly, but listen, it's been doing wonders for me at the moment. I struggle with a lot of stuff up here. Decisions. Do that, don't do that, whatever. My emotions, anger, or frustration, or lack of faith, or idle time, and what I'm doing with it. And just, I'm a regular guy. Maximum God, minimum me. It's really changing things. So I pray that is a blessing for you. I pray that that's a blessing for you. I got to try to distill that to like a smaller thing so I could like clip that or something. But I don't know if that's going to work. Anyway, listen, I thank you for listening and sharing your stories. I pray that this finds you and you share your stories. I want to read them. I want other people to read about them. And I pray the Lord bless you like he blesses me. And that you find that the only way to go through life is to have an absolute maximal view of our Lord and Savior, the voice that spoke the universe into existence, the one who is before and who will be after, the first and the last, the highest of views. The highest of reverence, praise, faith, holiness, fear, honor, love, kindness, all of it. Thanksgiving to the max, fear to the max, love to the max. Change your life. Anyway, thank you for watching. Also, follow along we're reading through Luke. It's been great. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out.